My 2022 M3 came with a deep discount. I bought it from auction for $27,000, but it didn't come with a lot of parts. But it came with a lot of questions.
All of the accessories on the front of the engine are gone.
It had a motor and tranny swapped in from a different car that was blown up. Every single part of the engine was gone, even the pistons, rods, cams, and valves. And obviously, this thing was crashed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The frame rail and subframe took the major blunt of the damage in the crash, and instead of sourcing all these parts individually, I got a whole nother car, an M4 to be exact. So I quickly stripped down the M4 and got the engine and transmission out, along with all the other miscellaneous parts that I would need.
Oh my, look at it.
It's completely clear.
Dude, look. We have a whole freaking engine, tranny, everything.
And now I have basically everything I need to get this car back together and running and driving. There's just one major hurdle. That's an absolute ton of work. The first thing I have to do is get the crappy engine out of the yellow car and put the good engine in from the gray car. That way it can mock everything up because I need to fix this frame rail. I also have to swap out the struts because my yellow car came with KW coilovers and I want to retain them, whereas the gray car has the factory struts. Getting these engines swapped back and forth is pretty easy, and hopefully this will be the last time I have to do this. I forgot, I want to take these brake calipers off because mine are still connected to the system and won't need to be bled. And I don't know why you guys are making fun of me for that. It's just one less thing I have to do, and on modern systems, it can be kind of a pain to bleed brakes. These calipers are exactly the same. They're both painted black, and I don't love that. I'm thinking of painting these to car yellow to match the car, or should I go with a different color? Let me know. The only way to get this frame rail aligned perfectly is to bolt in the entire subframe, because without doing that, the frame rail could point in all sort of wonky directions, and that's just not going to work. Basically, just need to get all of those subframe bolts lined up perfectly. There's a lot of them. There are at least 8 subframe bolts, but I got them all bolted in, everything lines up perfectly, and that's good news. That means that the crash damage didn't extend beyond this frame rail, at least not to my knowledge. Speaking of frame rails, I got a brand new one from BMW, and I'm about to hack it up. Now all I have to do is make this fit. You get the idea. This may be my most exciting unboxing yet. Very big. Heavy box. Curious viewers out there might be wondering how I'm going to weld in this aluminum frame rail, and here's your answer. Welcome eSub to the channel. This is the Rebel 205. It can do AC, DC, TIG, MIG, stick, and as you'll see a little bit later in this video, a spool gun can also be used with it. Now before getting into any welding, I gotta fit this frame rail obviously, and this other bracket that attaches to the frame rail is still slightly bent. And I think I figured out a pretty good way to fix that. Very close. Very, very close. Pretty much perfect. There's probably gonna be some spring back though. Should have just left this on there. No one would ever know. What I need to do is get a general idea, general measurement. Shouldn't be too difficult. These all have the same markings. On the old one, I cut near this. Right there. Exactly 3/4 of an inch from the inside of that hole. And it's going to be a little longer than the yellow one, just so I have extra, but also because this is kinked, which essentially shortened it. If you guys didn't already know, you'll certainly find out later in this video, I'm no fabricator. I work with what I got, I'm learning as I go, and I'm trying to get better.
and this is a great learning experience.
I'm going to try the bandsaw. I don't know if that's the best way to cut this. I don't have a chop saw. I'm going to follow the lines as best I can. Nice. Pretty darn good for a first try.
And no, this isn't going to be a simple butt weld. I'm going to add some gussets.
I'm also gusseting all these by taking the old frame rail, cutting it, and matching it up perfectly inside. So I have a nice strong backing, gusset everything together. It's going to be really, really strong, even with my welding.
These self-tappers are going to provide two functions. Number one, they're going to hold these gussets in place for now, and then after I do some welding, I'm going to pull the screws back out and plug weld.
Oh, yeah. Now there's more of a gap over here, but this is actually the exact gap I want to get my weld in there, so I need to probably open up the other side a little bit.
I'm pretty sure whoever sent my G80 back to auction sucked all the gas out of it, because when I had it on, at least the gauge cluster was on, it showed no gas in the tank at all. And obviously I can't drive the thing, so I need to get some gas, and I might as well fill up my truck while I'm at it, and I'm going to use Upside. Upside is the most valuable app you can have on your phone in 2025. And it's not just for gas like I'm getting here at Speedway, it's for restaurants as well. And Upside is used to get cash back on every purchase. No points, no BS, actual cash to your bank account.
Could not be any easier.
And you can use this at over 100,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants. All you have to do is claim an offer for whatever you're looking for on the Upside app, pay as usual with a credit or debit card, follow the steps in the app, and get paid. It's super simple. I earned 23 cents a gallon filling up my diesel truck, and I also earned 23 cents a gallon filling up my 5-gallon jug with 93 octane. Upside users are making as much as $280 a month.
And that was really just, it's as easy as getting diesel in my truck. And it's something you do all the time. Everybody needs gas. Some people need diesel, so why not earn while you're doing it?
And to find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description box to download the Upside app and use code MattRoss to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. Or scan the QR code to claim this offer.
Like it never even happened.
With final fitment confirmed, I'm just some weld prep and some weld practice away from getting this frame rail glued back into place like it never happened. At least that's the goal. But again, I've never used a spool gun, so we're going to see how this goes. Now, I do have a cart on the way for this welder and gas bottle, but at this time I didn't have it. In a future video, you'll see this welding cart. It is the definition of overkill. It is so nice. But for this video, I didn't have it. But luckily for me, this ESOP 205 is a really portable. It's small and lightweight, but it can still do everything I could ever want it to do. But now it's time to practice with something I've never used before, and that is a spool gun. And with how easy this machine is to use, I got this thing dialed in almost right away, and it was working beautifully.
Ready to weld.
And once I got the subframe bolted to the new frame rail, it was time to tack it. These are just going to be a couple tack welds because I need to pull the engine and subframe completely back out to get it welded completely all the way around.
No going back now. Tacked in. It's like it didn't move to me.
There's a couple reasons to use the spool gun. Number one, this frame rail is aluminum, so it has to be aluminum welded, and I don't want to TIG it because I don't trust myself with a TIG welder on something this important. And when welding aluminum, you have to use a spool gun simply because that welding wire is a lot softer because it's aluminum and it can't travel the whole way through all the lines like you would be able to with a stainless steel MIG. Look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that all my welds were perfect and beautiful and looked like a professional did them, because that's simply not the case. But with a lot of grinding, it turned out pretty darn nice. But I do need to test it to make sure it's not going to snap off.
I already know everyone's going to say that it's not strong and yada yada yada. I disagree.
I think if this will hold all 205 pounds of
That's not
me,
even attached.
it's decently strong. Per usual, there had to be at least some cleaning in this video, and it really amazed me how dirty this engine bay was for a car that's only 3 years old. It probably looks extra dirty just because it's Dakar yellow, but also from the fact that it sat at an auction lot for months and months and months. Grinding wasn't the last part of this process. I need to make it look like this frame rail has never been repaired. And to do that, I got the engine bay and fender wells all cleaned up with some degreaser in my pressure washer in preparation for paint. I also cleaned up the new subframe because that was pretty dirty as well. And after some primer, I could lay on the Dakar yellow from a spray can. All right, let's see how this paint looks the next day. Oh man, that is an absolute perfect match. I'm so happy with that. If you didn't know what you were looking for, I don't think you'd ever know that this frame rail was replaced, which was the goal. And of course, I could have put some body filler on here or something to make it look perfect, but I'm not worried about that. You're not going to see any of this when the engine is in there. And a huge shout out to ESAB. Without their welder, none of this would have been possible. They've agreed to jump on board with all the projects, so we have a lot more welding coming in the future because my previous welder, well, it just sucked. What the fuck? Hi. And this ESAB 205 Rebel, it can do everything. And I'll have a link in the description for that. Now it's time to get this engine in this bay after I remove this. It's crazy that this is sat outside for just a few days and it's already completely rusted. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything, but it's kind of wild. While this clutch only has 26,000 miles on it, I figured now is such an easy time to replace it and upgrade it. I might as well. Oh yeah, plenty of life left on this whole setup, which would work fine, but, I mean, it's off. I might as well upgrade it. The internet says the stock clutch will start to slip at less than 700 horsepower, while the engine in stock turbos can make a lot more power than that. So at this time, the weakest link of this whole car is this clutch. Now, for the replacement, I got something really cool. Wow, really nice instructions. This is a twin disc setup from PTB, and it comes with everything you need, including a new flywheel, throwout bearing, shift fork, and etc. And this thing's going to hold way more power than the stock clutch could ever dream of, because apparently they start slipping around 700 horsepower, which of course isn't enough horsepower. I do want to mark this so I line it up the same way they had it lined up. It's a sweet looking clutch disc. And the second one stays in there, so I don't have to mess with that. Nice. This kit comes with great instructions. So after some Loctite to the flywheel bolts, I could get them torqued down, and they get torqued in 3 separate stages. After cleaning the grease off of it, I could install the second clutch disc, and you can see how it interfaces with the clutch disc that is behind it. And this is all going to equate to a stock-like pedal feel while holding a lot more power. And the quality of this whole setup is second to none. All these components look and feel fantastic. So I got the pressure plate bolts Loctited and torqued down, and then I can move on to the new throwout bearing and clutch fork.
Whew, I gotta blow all the gunk out of there. It's been sitting for a while. There's a very specific way this goes, because one hump is higher than the other. And if you miss this on the instructions, that would be a bad day. Just like that. Cool.
And before mating the engine and transmission together permanently, there's one other thing I want to do.
Tranny and clutch are completely done, ready to go in, but before, I have other things to upgrade.
Obviously, if I'm upgrading the clutch, I need to upgrade the engine as well. And the first thing, and one of the easiest things, is of course, getting rid of the stock downpipes. Another while you're in there, these are from BRSF, and they came with the optional heat shielding, which looks fantastic, and it's certainly going to be way easier to install these with the engine outside of the car. Most modern engines with turbos have the downpipes connected with V-bands, and this is no exception. It makes for a relatively easy install with no leaks, plus you can actually rotate the downpipes when they're on the turbos. And that'll help get you perfect alignment with the rest of the exhaust.
I'm going to leave these loose for now, so I can still rotate them while they're in the engine bay, just to make sure the exhaust lines up perfectly. Okay, they can both spin, and I'm thinking these bolts will be decently easy enough to access.
And that completes all of our engine and transmission upgrades, at least for now. There certainly will be more in the future.
Tranny is ready to go in, but I got to rebuild all of the engine bay because I took all that sound deadening, all those brackets off. It's got to look more like this. Oh, now come on, BMW. There's no studs in the new frame rail. That's big stupid.
As annoying as that was, it's a pretty easy fix with 3 riv nuts instead of the studs. Why they didn't just come pre-installed on the frame rail is completely beyond me. BMW seemed to shove every AC line, hose, and cooler over on the driver's side of this engine bay, so there's a lot to move, but so far I've remembered pretty much where everything goes, and everything that I didn't remember, I could just look at the spare chassis, which was extremely, extremely helpful.
Well, I think ready to put the engine in. Well, transmission first, then engine, and subframe and suspension, and 100 other things. This should be rather interesting by myself, especially with this obstacle course in the way. Oh God. This truly is an obstacle course. Oh. Okay.
I was concerned this was going to be a fight. Twin disc clutch, installing a tranny by yourself. I thought no way this would slide in so easily, but I was dead wrong.
That was far too easy. Oh yeah.
And with that, a completed drivetrain is ready for installation.
If we're wondering about this bracket that connects to this bracket, I'm wondering the same thing. I looked everywhere in my very organized mess, and I can't find it, so luckily I can get that after it's installed in the car. Now, it's game time.
Ever since I first saw this car at the online auction, this is the moment I've been dreaming of. Having a fixed frame rail and a new engine, transmission, subframe, and suspension to get this car fully sorted. This is a major milestone, and now the car is that much closer to being able to run and drive.
Oh, I am double guiboed up right now. Oh, this sucks. This really sucks. I can't even see it. Where is it? Okay. That should help. Did I ever mention how badly I want a garage and a 2-post lift? Or any lift. Or just to not be working on macadam. It's in. May have forgotten about the steering shaft. So somehow this is bent, but it's really not much more bent than how it was from the factory. I probably didn't even need to pull this out, but I don't know. I'm gonna swap it to this one.
It took way longer than I'd like to admit getting the steering shaft bolted in along with that coolant line replaced, but I got it done. Now to shove myself back under the car in a whole bunch of really uncomfortable positions. My favorite.
That's a fully installed engine, subframe, transmission.
BMW shoved so many braces on these cars, I didn't even realize that this big aluminum U existed. Thankfully, again, the parts car came to the rescue.
One thing I'm noticing, I should have pulled this off because it's all like busted up all on this side. Not for me either, but hopefully it's an easy swap.
Little parts like these would nickel and dime me to death, so this parts car is paying for itself over and over again. I'm not sure what this sandy substance was all over the car, but I know a like and a description would make my day.
Thankfully, these parts look exactly the same. I wasn't sure if they'd be different coupe to sedan or not.
All of these small parts and finishing touches take so much time. It actually takes more time than installing the engine and the subframe because there are just so many bolts, nuts, and screws. It's almost endless.
And then we got this guy. This is a fun location. Thanks, Germans. Now, is this the same between coupe and sedan? So far, it looks like it. Those line up.
I'm an E36 guy at heart, and I know on sedans and coupes almost everything is different, so it really surprised me how many parts are exactly the same in the G80 and G82.
This is where you make mistakes. So this is all bolted back up, and I left a connector over here, and I can't get it between there without taking things apart. But worse than that, this fuel line that I took out needs to go in between the subframe and that.
I got the fuel lines corrected, I got the electrical connector corrected, and then I was fishing for more parts from the G82, like additional fuel lines, tank breather lines, clips, screws. I gotta take advantage of this car while I have it. And as of now, the engine is fully bolted in. It almost is starting to look like a car. And other than the giant mess outside my garage, I'm really happy with this progress. This car is basically almost ready to start. And that's a huge milestone because this thing came to me like a giant hunk of crap with a hole in the block. And now look at it. It's, well, at least there's not a hole in the block anymore.
we've sort of officially completed the swap. I just have to get all of that on here, which really won't take long. I'll just snap you guys through it.